Hello, everybody. Welcome. For some reason, the Zoom system changed on me, and I've got a waiting room thing now, and I have to wait and admit people from the waiting room as they sign up. So what I'm going to do after tonight is I'm going to go on my account, and I'm going to change it so that we'll use a passcode, which will be automatic, instead of the waiting room. And then I will email all of you the new link. And then if you use that new link, you won't have to do the waiting room. And I'm hoping I have everybody's email address. If you're new and I don't have your email address, please send it to me. My email is my name, Stephen@stevenspiro.com. And then we can avoid having to do that. We can start a little earlier. So getting a little darker outside. But I guess we're in for some nice weather for the next couple weeks. No frost. So let's just go ahead and bow in. Okay, and let's go ahead and bow to the 7 directions. To the north. To the east. To the south. To the west. Above. Below. In conversation with some friends this morning, the word sacred came up. And one of the ideas about sacred is it has to do with mystery. And this space, if we were at the Taiji Center or even this space in your room, is sacred space. And Qigong is, I think, ultimately mysterious. We can do all these ancient practices and postures and meditations. We can follow these teachings that have been around for thousands of years. And things change. I mean, you all know this. And how that really works, I think, is fundamentally pretty mysterious. Um, and you know, in the path of wisdom traditions, we're moving from being focused on the separate self or the object. We're moving from this solidity progressively into an awareness that's vast and spacious and unbounded by form. And in order to do that, we need to process through all of the conditioning that we've been through in our lives, the childhood trauma, the pain, the wounds, the misperceptions, the confusion, all of these crazy, busy mind, all of these things which hold us into the world of form. Because don't forget, thoughts are forms, emotions are forms. And so what the Buddha does, and what Taoism does, is it invites us into the mystery of the body. And we can approach this divesting ourselves of hindrances through psychologistic means, that is, through psychology or therapy, or through meditation, where we're gaining insight into our woundedness or our hindrances. We can go through this sort of step by step and consciously evaporating these blockages that seem so solid. And that's completely valid. The ancient people really didn't do that. And in Qigong, when we're moving energy in the body, we're actually dissolving those seemingly solid blockages in our mind, in our heart, in our body, as we relax into this boundless quality. Okay, so you know, when we're doing these movements, we're moving energy, we're focusing our mind on the movements, on the moving energy in our body. The more freely that energy moves, the less hindered it is, because it's dissolved in a mysterious way. It's dissolved many of our blockages. Okay, so we can use the mind, we can use mindfulness, and we can meditate, and we can do talk therapy, and we can identify our suffering, and we can investigate it with curiosity, and we can enable it to dissolve in awareness, and that's fine. And we can just do these movements. We can do these practices and let this qi, this ancient energy of the universe that's been here way before any of us made the scene, just let this move through us. And that movement of energy has a way of dissolving the blockages in the body-mind. Okay? But ultimately it's mysterious. You know, I can't explain that. But you can feel it. Every one of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you can feel it. You can feel the lightness and the spaciousness and the energy. You can feel the energy in the body. And the more we can feel that and remain relaxed at the same time, the more that we know we're moving in the direction of boundlessness, of love and compassion, what Thich Nhat Hanh calls wisdom and compassion, or wisdom and love. Today, I think we're going to do what my teacher Tricia Yu used to do from time to time. When we were learning Tai Chi, you know, we had to learn 108 movements, you know, and we had to do them precisely and everybody was so focused on doing it right, getting it right. And that's good. And at the same time, every once in a while, you just forget all of that. And you just do it, what she used to say, let's do it for flow. Okay. So tonight we're going to do familiar movements, and we're going to be doing them for flow, not trying to do them right, not trying to imitate, how I do it or how you think it should be done or something. Just feeling it. And what this will do, this is where you move from playing scales into jazz, because the movements will adapt you to them, and you'll be doing them your own way. And that's great. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for tonight, is we're going to focus on flow. So how do we focus on flow when we're in a posture like standing mountain, or standing one position, standing mountain, standing one, or any posture? And since we know there's always movement within stillness, we can sense the flow of the breath. We can sense the tingling quality of the energy that we feel in the body. So flow is energy. It's movement. It's not stillness. And so even standing still, if we check into our physical feelings of the body, the nature of those feelings, the perception of those feelings is tingly, pixelated, and extremely rapid. So even though we're standing still, there's this flow. So in Zen, we would say the body is appearing and disappearing moment to moment to moment. And arising with the body is the perceiver, the sense of self, which is arising and disappearing very quickly, moment to moment. So can you get a sense of that? You feel that tingling, a very, very rapid tingling quality, that aliveness, what Rodney Smith calls a sense of aliveness. It's in the body, it's also in the mind. It is the mind. Okay, so what else is moving? The heart's moving. The blood is moving. We know that, but perhaps we can feel it. You can feel the pulse of, or you can just sense it. Now the thinking mind may be moving. Thoughts may be moving through, coming and going. Or just the spacious mind may be present. And the spacious mind is also pixelated, tingling, alive, just like the sensations of the body. And this aliveness is not only in the body and in the mind, but it's all around us. And we're not separate from it, even for a moment. Okay, so let's sink down and bring the hands up. And now as we're going to go into the movement, the movement never stops. The body's just expressing the movement of the breath. You're moving with the breath in and out. So the teachers say that the hands are moving as if in warm water. So they're just taking this energy all around us and making it just a little more solid. It's just saying, this is water. We're moving gently and it's supporting us. But it's not only supporting us, the water is within us. And the water is moving within the water. Okay, and then when you're ready, go ahead and switch the hands so the palms are facing. Just continue. You can do this movement in a big way, so turning a lot, turning way around, or you can do it more subtly. This is just the chi flowing through the body and fluttering it in this way. And you can play with this, make this a little bigger if you like. That is, separate the hands even more. Still the same movement. Can be very big. Let the movement morph if it wants to, a little bit, let it change. Just feel it, just enjoy. If you have a little pain somewhere, then adjust the movement so that you don't have it. Okay, now let's just transition into diagonal flying. The top hand goes up, bottom hand goes back, and then switch. Top hand goes up diagonally, and then it comes under. And now it's the bottom hand. Turning in the direction of the upper hand. Okay, and don't worry about doing it right. Just feel it. Do it however you want to. And let's reduce the movements a little. Let's come back into a standing. So we haven't stopped moving. It's just that we're focusing on the movement inside the body, in the mind, all around us, even though the body is relatively still. So see if you can sense a connection between the palms or between the hands and the body. Okay, let's do opening the heart. So, in breath. So try doing this very dramatically and maybe more subtly. And just see. We're throwing open the chest, throwing open the arms. And then the echo of this, or the shadow of this, is opening the 7 gates. So actually we're opening all 7 just with this one movement. And it could be a smile. In breath, we expand. Become as wide as the sky. The out breath, we contract. This movement creates the breath. Really, when you fold in, that's the exhale. And when you're fully open, that's the peak of the inhale. Okay, let's reduce the movement. Okay, let's go vertical. So touching heaven, touching earth, extend, and the movement does not stop. And then retract. And then open. And now send this movement, extend the movement way beyond the hands, up and down. And if you hold the position, you're still moving, you're still extending. And then we're bringing it back from a long way. And same with this. So movement, stillness, extend. The body's still, but it's extending. It's expanding. Not just out the fingers, but in all directions. And then coming back in. And movement. Body is still. Continue, extend. Moving way beyond the body. And then coming back. Comes from the heart, out the hands, extends. This is called embracing the world or the earth. But this really goes in like a field out in all directions. It's centered in the heart, but it's everywhere is the center. And then we come back. Okay, the hands are communicating and then maybe into the body. Stillness. Okay, and then movement. Expand. So this is coming from the heart and moving in all directions into this field, vast field. And then coming back. This is the individual. Okay, and this is boundlessness. What's it like way beyond the body? And the ancient Buddhists would say you're a node in the net of Indra. And there's this vast net, and you're connected to all of it. The Taoists would say this is just you're one with the Tao, with the field, the boundless field. Okay, and then come back. Okay, and once more up and down. So you may have guessed by now that it doesn't matter if it's up and down or side to side. It goes into the field, which is infinite. Okay, and then coming back. And we can do that same thing in the microcosm. So this would be breathing crane at the heart, where with the in-breath, the hands spread apart a little. Out-breath, they come back a little. It's like they're resting on this spherical field centered in the heart. Check out the palms, the bubbling wells in the hands. And now let's drop down to breathing crane in the lower dantian. So just in breath, out breath. So this is whole body breathing. So in the visualization here is the breathing in through every pore of the skin and breathing out through every pore of the skin. This whole body breathing. Now, if you like, you can reverse this and breathe out when you expand and breathe in when you contract. Either way is fine. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Okay, let's come back to one hand over the middle dantian, the other over the lower. And so there's a connection between the palm of the hand and the dantian in the torso. Okay, so let's drop the hands slowly. And now moving this internally, in addition to the breath and the heart, now we're going to move the chi. So let's start with the right hand, and we're going to point with the index finger and or the middle finger. So pointing down first, down at the center line. So in breath, pointing to the inside of the spine. All the way up, out breath, down inside the front of the body. Okay, in breath. Out breath. So the finger is directing the attention or the light, illuminating the inside of the spine and then up the top of the head. And you can do this slowly. You can do this 2 breaths. So it would be begin in breath, up, out breath, in breath, out breath, or even more slowly if you want. It doesn't matter as long as you're coordinating. And you can switch hands. Marge Piercy wrote a poem called The Xylophone of the Spine. And there's something called the inner flute, where as you move up the spine, you go up an octave. If that's useful for you. And then going down, you go down that octave. And this can also relate to color. So rainbow colors with red at the bottom and ultraviolet at the top, if that works for you. Or just sensing. Okay, let's reduce this. Now we're going to combine outer and inner. So with the tree in autumn, so now we're in this position, connecting to the sun, the moon, the stars, the universe. So our hands are way extended up into the light of the universe. And now let's bring down and filling the body with that light. And if you really focus on this, the body is not separate from the mind. So if there is anything stuck in the mind or the emotions, it's stuck in the body too. And by doing this, we are in some mysterious way moving this cosmic light through the body and depositing anything solid as compost down into the earth. So we're bringing down the light. Visualize this, it's white or it's rainbow, whatever it is, blue, any color. Bring it down. And lighting up every cell. And with that light, anything heavy gets moved out. And as Ken Cohen says, it goes down to the earth as compost. So all these movements that we do, these cleansing movements, this is what this is. In some mysterious way, this is bringing in this consciousness, which is beyond space and time. And nothing that's stuck can remain. It just gets swept away like dust in the wind and compost. This simple movement, if done with awareness, cleanses the body, relaxes the body, cleanses the physical body and the mental bodies. Somehow. We don't have to know how. Okay? So this takes a sincere heart feeling this. So we're really bringing in all that we forgot as we've grown up in this lifetime, all that cosmic light. Causing every cell in the body to glow. Let's just do a couple more. Smile a little. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up our stool. Now, the sincerity of heart is simply the deep desire, or the bodhicitta, the deep desire to be free. The deep longing to be one with all that is. That's all. As the body is still, we can notice the obvious movements of the breath, of the heart. And we can notice the obvious movements of the mind if there's thinking going on. Just notice. And now going a little deeper, what is the nature of this sensation? And I've already said it's tingling, pixelated, inconstant, energetic. So from the point of view of awareness, this body is nothing but moving energy. From the point of view of awareness, this thinking mind is very much like the beating heart. It's just doing that or not doing it. It's all just energy and awareness. There's nothing stopping us from sending out our awareness in all directions. Awareness is everywhere. There's nothing stopping us from moving our awareness into the middle of our body. Everything comes and goes, doesn't it? Very, very, very rapidly. And the one who perceives all of this is also a fantasy. It's all a play of light on the water. It's the moon reflected in a still pond. Immaterial. And if you like, you can allow there to, or bring in and manifest something that's difficult, uncomfortable, painful, and see from this perspective, it's just theater. Oh, it's real and it matters. And from this view, it's all a play of light and shadow. Even this entire lifetime. Now, let's take a few more breaths. So from here, there are kind of two ways to go. One is, once we recognize this, nothing matters. It's all a dream anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that's the path of nihilism that leads right back into the swirling cycle. The other is, yes, and everything matters. Every thought matters, every word matters, every deed matters, every being matters. And that's the understanding that leads to the sincerity of heart. Because we recognize what the reality is, and deep within it, the longing to be free. So let's simultaneously sense the solidity and stillness of the sitting body and the incredible inconstancy, the energy that we can sense that moves way out from the body in all directions. So both are real, aren't they? The sitting body is real. The separate self is real to an extent. And it's all a play of energy. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and let's do the hand clap. Yes, it's been over 50 minutes. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Okay, so any comments or questions about flow? Who's flow anyway? Okay. You know, it's been a week, but, you know, I mean, if you're aware of the news, it seems like it's been, you know, a year or something. Really amazing.
So, Stephen, this is Bonnie. This week, maybe the last 3 days, I have had a kind of headache that I've never had before, which is more on the right on the top of my head, sort of off to the right side, and I knew it felt like it was blocked energy. That's what it felt like. And so doing some of the kinds of head things and some other things from Qigong that I could think of. But this helped some. But today, what we did, the sequence of things today, it's like now I just feel this lovely tingling around my head. And I feel like whatever was there, keeping that energy like this has been moved on. So thank you.
Yeah, I know that ring thing. Yeah, and it's mysterious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, you know, I mean, I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah, that's what I just felt like. I didn't really need to, the blocked energy occurred to me. That was my explanation, I guess. But I knew I just had to get curious and pay attention to it and do what occurred to me that I might do.
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to worry about it or, call my doctor or, you know.
Yeah.
Today, really, that's the sequence and the length of time.
Hmm.
I'm going to remember that I didn't do the tree in autumn thing. That we did at the end earlier, and I think that really was useful too. So,
It can be almost any movement.
yeah,
If you have that sort of that mindset, some maybe are more appropriate, but yeah, good. Well, great. I'm glad to
thanks.
hear it. Yeah. Anybody else?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So something I've been wondering for a while. So when we expand our awareness all the way out, like infinitely, there's that certain feeling of like you could feel everything out there. And like you said, the body just feels like energy in space, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have a hard time wrapping my mind around like when we consciously move the energy up and down the spine in like microcosmic orbit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Are those the same things? Is like that energy that we're just letting vibrate and pixelate the same thing as the energy we move up and down the spine? Are they the same concepts?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, the ancients were really, a lot of this was about longevity and health,
Mm-hmm.
And in their medicine system, which we came down to us as acupuncture and other things, that was how they did that. And it was very, very complicated. And there were certain centers for certain organs, and there were all these ways you moved the energy. I mean, the microcosmic orbit is the most basic,
Mm-hmm.
and that one and the vertical axis. So I think that's originally what that was. It was balancing the yin and yang in the organs.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the same energy? Yeah, it's the same energy. But in the one, you are focusing it intentionally. So it's coming through your mind and you're focusing it. In the other one, you're releasing. You're just there's not an intention there.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I like have a hard time wrapping my mind around the difference. That focus versus the release, I think, is like the key point that makes it hard to tell what's going on, if there are even words to describe it.
Oh, well, it's really concrete. I mean, if you get into at all, and Cassandra could speak to this, maybe I'll ask you if you would, but if you get into energy medicine of some sort, whether it's craniosacral or whatever it might be, you're very consciously bringing that cosmic energy into your system and moving it through you into another person. Cassandra, could you talk about that a little bit? Do you mind?
I'm not quite sure what the question is. I'm trying to follow.
The quality of cosmic energy as opposed to focused healing energy in the body. I brought up doing it with another person, but just what maybe Josh, is that right? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say about that is that, intentionally pulling that cosmic energy in within your being and then bringing it through your being. And so it's you directing, guiding, intentionally moving the cosmic energy. In essence, you are the conduit of that. That's how I would see it. So is there a difference between you and the energy, the cosmic energy? I don't know.
Well,
but there is a pointer. There's a pointer. There's a direction and an intention that is I want to say like a nugget of awareness that is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when we're expanding out, that's not really there's an intention to do that, I guess, but it's a letting go, really.
It's total surrender. It's just, yes, it's letting go.
Yeah.
It is very different. It's not directional, but I think our mind kind of sees it that way, that it's a direction out versus in. And I think that we have to, see it that way, but it's a different it's a different sense of using the energy, moving the energy, not using, moving the energy. Yeah. Letting go versus intentionally bringing in. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I know a lot of energy healers, particularly young women, who they're very good, but they burn out because they're not connecting out. They're using their own energy.
Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah, you know, and it works for a while, but then it depletes you. And so that
Yeah.
expanded sense is limitless. So if it just goes through you, that there's no burnout.
Right. And it energizes you.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from you. It just brings in more and creates more energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's great. Thank you, Cassandra, because
Sure.
Cassandra's a very, very experienced and skilled energy healer, among other things. And so that's one of the uses of Qi. You know, all the modern iterations of energy healing, I would make the case, all come from Taoist teaching, from some form of Qigong. So.
Yeah, that is extremely fascinating. Thank you both.
Yeah, there's a book by Chunyi Lin called We Are All Healers. And he talks about a lot of that, about his process. And he's one of the few true, real energy, Qigong energy masters on the planet. He's one of the few. So he's in Minneapolis. Anyway, if you want to read about it, that's a good book.
Yeah, I'd be very fascinated.
Yeah, We Are All Healers, it's called.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Has everybody voted? It's not too late. Not too early. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, look, check your inbox, and I'll send you the new link. And if you can't find it or something, you can still use the old link. It's just that I'll have to let you in.
You know what, Stephen, I was going to mention, I'm a teacher, and so I'm on Zoom all the time with my students, and they did do some kind of an upgrade. And I think if you go into your settings, there's a button that will say like, to disable the waiting room.
Right, and then it requires a passcode. But
oh, so you, okay,
yeah.
because somehow okay, so you tried it.
Yeah, it's just the passcode is embedded in the link though, so it's not a big deal. So
Got it.
yeah, I think they made it more secure.
Yep.
Yeah, I think people were crashing it.
Right.
Okay, well, good to see you. Allison, you're hanging in there? Okay. All right, everybody. Well, fun as always. Have a good night.
Night.
Night.